The Long Island Maritime Museum in West Sayville was once part of the historic Meadow Edge Estate. The home was designed by Sayville architect Isaac Green and built in 1909 for stockbroker Anson Hard and his wife Florence Bourne Hard.
The museum is part of the Hard Estate. Florence Bourne Hard was the daughter of Frederick Bourne, who had a summer home was turned into LaSalle Military Academy, is now owned by St. John's. So he gave his daughter 500 at the east 500 acres and said, you can build, I'll build a house for you and a garage and the whole thing. So that main house of that estate is now Suffolk County Parks Department headquarters, and the Long Island Maritime Museum is actually the garage was the garage. About 1964, Suffolk County bought the land and the buildings from the Hard family, and shortly thereafter started up the Suffolk Marine Museum, which was actually part of the County Parks Department and was staffed by parks personnel. In 1986, the Suffolk County Suffolk Marine Museum was incorporated as a 501c3 not-for-profit entity with its own board of trustees and was put under license agreement with the Suffolk County Parks Department. And then around 1993 or thereabouts, it was renamed and rechartered as the Long Island Maritime Museum.
The Long Island Maritime Museum welcomes visitors from all over the world. And basically we have 9 different exhibits, and we basically tell the story of what life was like on Long Island when we basically were oystering and fishing from the Great South Bay. So the main building that we're in now houses our life-saving exhibit, and the lifesavers really predated the Coast Guard. So these were the men that would risk their lives to save people from shipwrecks. And we also have a library and our trophy room in this building. And we have the Penny Boat Shop, which we actually have our volunteers restore and build boats each year in. So you can see the men working in the boat shop.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Yeah, it's great. We got a good group. We have a good time. We meet 3 times a week. We just finished the raffle boat that's now inside. And we've built that raffle boat 4 times, 5 times. We built essentially the same boat. Little tweaks here and there, but essentially the same boat.
One of my favorite exhibits is Priscilla, which is our 1888 oyster sloop. And she is a National Historic Landmark, which is wonderful. And she's our floating ambassador in the Great South Bay. And we welcome the public to charter Priscilla. We have public charters, and we actually have private charters as well, so people can sail on a bit of Long Island's wonderful history.
The great thing about Priscilla is the community of people that has been built around her, crew members, staff, and we have a ridership that returns. We have people that ride on the boat 3-4 times a year.
She is the last remaining oyster sloop of her kind on the South Shore or here on Long Island, and I feel privileged to be able to sail and work on her.
This is a great site to have a collection and interpret the maritime history of the South Shore of Long Island, which is very different than the North Shore. And of course, West Sayville, where we're located, was the oyster capital of the planet back in the late 1880s and early 1900s. More oysters came out of the Great South Bay than any place else in the world. The Blue Point oyster was world famous for many, many decades. And then the hard shell clamming industry came after the oystering, after World War II. And then that died out also, principally because of water pollution in the bay.
Another one of my favorite exhibits here is our small craft building, and what's interesting about that is it's actually in an old seaplane hangar on the ground. So it's a large structure, and inside you'll find over 60 small crafts, and a lot of them were built right here on Long Island. They're all wooden vessels, and you can go in there and really see a large variety of the boats that have been built right here on the Great South Bay.
We've tried to assemble a collection, a maritime collection that is principally Long Island based. Occasionally we will receive something that was prominent with a Long Island family, perhaps on the South Shore. We have a boat from Commodore Bourne, for instance, that he never used down here. He used up in the Adirondacks. But the connection is with the Bourne family. By and large, though, most of the boats and collection items and artifacts that we take in have something to do with the maritime history of Long Island and principally the South Shore and the Great South Bay. But this was and is a great site to interpret marine history. So many maritime museums throughout the United States are not located on navigable water. So we are very fortunate to have a museum here, have our collection here. People can come and visit, and they are right on the water.
For more information, you can check out the website limaritime.org. In West Sayville, Chris Collora reporting, Long Island Online News.